okay today?
Hey guys, I am back because we had some unexpected breaking news from none other than the lovely, controversial Candace Owens. On her podcast, she just released a message to Black America. And in this message, she shares her heart. And I thought this was a great opportunity for me to share with my fellow followers on my page, because I'm often sharing messages from Candace Owens. And I hope that this gives you some new insight, a new perspective into who is Candace Owens, because she can be quite controversial in the statements and the stances that she takes. But on this episode, she has Ben Carson, who gladly pours his wisdom into her, and she's there to receive it. You might be pleasantly surprised by what you hear. So let's take a look.
Hey, kind of a weird one. Am I, Candace Owens, participating in Black on Black crime? I'll give you a hint. The answer is actually yes, and I've just realized it. So I asked the question, am I also contributing to Black on Black crime in our society? And I'll tell you why I asked the question. I received a comment on a recent episode in which I stood up for Kyrie Irving, and I talked about this spiritual desire that I feel that I must stand by Black men in this moment in time. In response to me saying that I wanted to sort of bring Black people back together, this is what Dr. Ben Carson said to me. Take a listen.
Well, you're very courageous and very articulate, and express that very well. But there's also always been a tendency to try to keep the Black community divided. And that started all the way back in the times of slavery, when particularly the slave owners in places like Mississippi and Alabama were very concerned, because there were actually more slaves than there were owners. And they feared an uprising. So they would tell the slaves in the house that they were better than the ones in the yard. The ones in the yard, they were better than the ones in the field, and keep this internal turmoil going all the time. And then after slavery, the light-skinned ones, you're better than the medium-skinned ones, you're better than the dark-skinned ones. And there's always been a way to keep them divided. And of course, now they want to make sure that conservative Blacks and liberal Blacks don't combine forces. So they try to create tension and hatred there as well. And, I think some of the things that you're doing are really helping to alleviate some of that tension. So I appreciate it. But what about Black Lives Matters? What's your diagnosis there?
I first want to respond to what you just said, because it was the exact words I needed to hear this week. I've spent this entire week defending Kyrie Irving and defending my friendship with Ye. And there's been this media peer pressure for me to dump Kanye West because I'm better than him and he's made a mistake. And this media peer pressure for Black Americans to speak out and to say something wrong about Kyrie Irving. And I have felt over the last month very spiritually conflicted, because there are so many people telling me that this is what I should do, right? These people are bad. Right. But then there's a part of me that's going, no, this has gone on for too long. You keep telling Black people not to support each other, right? I want to create an ecosystem where we can support Black people when they're wrong, and we can support Black people when they're right, and that we can just support one another full stop. And that is actually how I feel. And to hear him put it to learned behavior from slavery just hit me in my soul, right? The idea that you can't like Candace Owens. You're not supposed to like Candace Owens. Look, there's this concept of they always call me on Instagram, actually, a lot of Black women, oh, she's a house Negro. Who taught you that? Why are you saying that? Do you actually believe that I think that I'm better than you, right? Why do we do this? Because we've learned this behavior. And just like Dr. Ben Carson says, there is somebody that knows that all of us coming together, there is a society that understands that we would be too powerful if we all came together. And I don't want to contribute in that slave economy anymore. I do not feel, and if you need to hear it, that in any way I am better than you. I am not better than you because I like politics and I like to pay attention to politics. And you maybe like to pay attention to culture and you know more about culture. That doesn't make you better than me because you might be able to name more of the top hip hop songs. We're different people. We need to accept that we are different people and figure out how we can come together despite being perfect people, being different people. I don't want to have to be someone that I am not to be your friend. And I hope that what is happening now, and I do feel it, that we are beginning to have these conversations and we are beginning to understand that we would be way more powerful as allies. And I hope that what you take from my commentary, because there was a lot of it, and I know that the media intentionally portrays it as though I'm always just talking back about Black Americans, that could not be further from the truth. What I have been trying to communicate to Black America and to all of America is that we can do better than what we're doing. We can do better. We can be better beings. We can strive towards better, right? And I've realized that that message represents a threat to people. I don't know why that is, but I do know that it needs to end and that we all need to stop participating in this slave economy. And that's all I want to say about that.